The opinions expressed on this program are solely those of its hosts, guests, or callers, and do not necessarily represent the opinions of WTBR-FM, its management, other producers, or sponsors.
Well, the good Wallace didn't get herself ejected in the state final for some dumb stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't want to say I dreaded showing up to this football game on Friday night, but yeah, we'll see what happens. Like, if you want to talk, you have to talk into the microphone. There we go. Mic to mic. I'm lost.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is Thursday here, and it is time for Bird's Eye View. Jesse and Mike here. I had an irate drive over because there was this stupid Mitsubishi that was just not understanding that to drive places you have to drive. And then there was a lot of there was construction on like, what is it, something in Newell. So that I thought I was going to be late, but then I wasn't, thankfully. And then also while I was waiting in traffic because of the construction, I got a call from AT&T because I had signed up for their wireless service. Because like since I have AT&T as my phone provider, it's cheap. All right, great, cheaper than Spectrum. We'll take it. And then it turns out that it sucks because it's just super slow. My download, my upload speed were I don't know, a third of what I got with Spectrum. Like, all right, well, I'll just pay the money for Spectrum because it's so much better. So then I was told specifically, if you a week from when you get it, if you return it within a week from when you get it, doesn't even go through for payment. Now I'm getting pestered with them. You have to pay. Like, first off, I returned it within a week of when I got it. Second off, I physically do not have anything. So no, I am not paying. So I got an automated call from them saying, like, you have to, and I'm getting emails. I'm like, it's not happening. It's not happening. You worthless piece of disease of a corporate behemoth. You're not getting money out of me any more than what I pay for my phone bill because I physically do not have your service. It's not happening. So at some point I might have to send them an angry email. But yeah, so that was fun.
It's somewhat ironic that you're making this argument here because the whatever the internet provider or whatever used to be here, actually, I believe in this very room, or actually maybe in that room right there next to us here. This is where I used to come, for one of my internet/cable problems. I believe at Time Warner or Spectrum or somebody was here.
It's serendipitous
in the past, yes.
Yeah, no, well, they all are terrible, and I hate them. This is part of the issue with America, where various cable companies divided up the country.
It's part of America's issue.
There's a reason why everyone hates Spectrum in Berkshire County. It's because it's the only game in town.
You can't watch the Patriots.
Well, I mean, that's a long-standing issue because of we're in the Albany media market. But no, it's because
it is a former coworker of mine. Yeah, he's like, this is time for my annual rant on why is Berkshire County part of the New York media market?
Closer to Albany, I guess.
It's just, yeah.
But no, it's because the cable companies convince the government that it's more fair if they don't have to compete against each other, so they divide up the country. It's like, no, that's not how competition works. That's monopoly. That's oligopoly. That's exactly what it is. And so this is why you have one option, two at the absolute most, and you get hosed by both of them. So get rid of it's not Regal Steel. It's a different law. But it's evil, and it's hurting the country, and it's hurting your options and the cost of television. In any case, so is ESPN, because ESPN is now off YouTube TV. Because,
really?
Yeah. ESPN channels are not on YouTube TV because they're having pricing issues. Really, the
100% part of the problem on that one, but that's okay. Well, I use my dad's YouTube TV.
The smart money is that because ESPN is coming out with a new
their own thing. Yeah.
So that's what that's where the smart money is. They're just trying to push that because that's like $30 a month or something. ESPN also apparently just today is no longer partnering with Penn Entertainment, which is like their sports book. So ESPN Bets is no more, which is good. We should not be pushing gambling content on children watching ESPN. Yeah, ESPN taking some financial hits is probably a good thing.
Okay.
Although maybe they'll just fire.
Is Penn the one that also owned Barstool for a while?
Yes.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
They did own Barstool, and Barstool got independent. Although Penn kind of like still pulls their strings somewhat. Yeah. They might still be like not allowed from doing gambling stuff with anyone not named Penn. I'm not sure. In any case.
Gambling.
In any case,
we're here to talk high school sports.
Well, we are. I would also like to just announce that W89.7 WTBR-FM is proud to announce our 7th annual one-day on-air fundraiser. Then will take place on Thursday, November 20th from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. So that's not next week. That's the week after. We got local guests, local dignitaries, your friends, your neighbors from the community. There will be plenty of incentives you can win, including restaurant gift certificates, tickets to local cultural attractions, and much more. You can make your donation to the Rock Box right now at WTBRFM.com. Don't miss the 7th annual one. It's been going on for a while now. 7th annual one-day on-air fundraiser. It's live 7 to 6 p.m. on Thursday, November 7th. 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. only on 89.7. It's all day live on the WTBR Facebook page. So if you're not in your car, tune in on Facebook. And we thank you guys for supporting your community radio station. So also then that for us personally, not just speaking for the station, but speaking for Bird's Eye View, we will not be on air on November 20th because there'll be the all-day radiothon. No confirmation yet, but you might still hear from us on that day. We'll be figuring that out. But yes, it's a great event. It helps keep the lights on here, that's for sure. And since we're here, we want to keep the lights on, and hopefully you do too if you like hearing what we have to say. Been a busy week for Berkshire County sports. It's kind of been a bloodbath for Berkshire County teams. We are down to just a handful left over because we are in the state tournament part of the season. Tomorrow, Hoosick Valley and Lee, they start their football stretch runs, both at home in the Division 8 state tournament. Lennox Volleyball is in the quarterfinals, also at home. And Monument Mountain, Greylock Girls Soccer, I believe.
Monument Boys.
Excuse me, Monument Mountain Boys and Greylock Girls Soccer. These are the other two teams.
And Hoosick Boys are still going as well.
These are the only teams left remaining in the playoff fight. So Monument Boys and Greylock Girls won last night.
They're both through to the round of 16.
Correct.
Hoosick Boys are still in the round of 32, or was that a prelim game they won out on Cape Cod? No, I'm not 100% sure. Anyway, Hoosick Boys play back on Cape Cod tomorrow at 2 p.m. I just saw, which is back-to-back trips to Cape Cod this week for the Hurricanes.
Yeah, no, I believe it was a first round game. So
that was a round. Okay.
Yeah. They're in the round of 16.
So all around of 16 this weekend.
Yep.
I think Monument Boys and Greylock Girls both play Saturday. I think Monument Boys might be 11 a.m. at Westport, and then Greylock Girls had not been not yet at least released. But Saturday. Yeah.
Monument will have a very early drive out on Saturday for an 11 a.m. game. They won 5-0 yesterday. Greylock Girls were down 2-0 to Tingsboro, scored 3 second-half goals to rally, win 3-2. Those were the only two winners in the county yesterday. Lee, tough loss on the road in Division 5. This is girls soccer. McCann girls soccer has been eternally cursed this season. They've had to play Smith Voke 3 times. They've had to play Smith Voke 4 times. They've lost 3, tied once. Mm-hmm. And so they lost back-to-back games to Smith Voke. They played them in the state vocational championship, lost 7-0. They just played in the D5 first round, lost 6-0. So that will end McCann's season. Tough one for them. Wacona girls almost pulled off another upset. They lost 3-2 to Southwick. So they had already upset Ludlow in the Western Mass tournament. They beat Sturgis Charter in the first round on Monday relatively comfortably. But yeah, they lost 3-2, so a close game. Bright future for this team. They're returning most of it. So yeah, pretty impressive season from them after some real down years. Lennox Volleyball, they're trying to do what they haven't done before. They are now into the quarterfinals. They were upset at home by Lee last year. So now they get to actually make it to the quarterfinals. They get to host the quarterfinal game. They're facing number 5, Whitensville Christian. Excellent program. was D5 runner-up last year, was the number 2 overall seed last year. I believe they've been a Final Four team multiple times. So Lennox very much has its work cut out for it. Easily the best team it'll face this season, so far this season. And very interesting, questionable scheduling by the people down there because Lee's football game, of which, Lennox players play for Lee. So that's at 7 on Friday, and Lennox is at 6 on Friday. So not really sure what went into that decision. But they did it anyway. So I guess we
you want
not really sure what's happening there.
I mean, they want it crowded, so you want it to have a Friday night game. That makes sense. But then when you consider, you might have a bit of a split, and is the student body going to be as out in full force at 2 different events at the same time, roughly the same time? Will they show up to the volleyball and then make their way over to football?
A 5 o'clock start, I'd buy, because you'd be like, all right, 5, you should be done by 7, then you can just go down a little bit. By halftime, you'll have the reinforcements of students. That makes sense. But it's all right, so it's 6 o'clock. So
maybe they have a plan.
Yeah,
we're running buses back and forth.
I don't know. I don't know.
But I could briefly that I was at the I guess the round of 16 for Lennox volleyball, and I think it was my first time seeing them kind of in full this season, and I
saw them in half.
I stopped in or just took pictures for a little bit, or I saw them a couple times. First time, I believe, writing a story about them, and I was very impressed with just kind of the like in basketball we would call it switchability, or they just have a lot of interchangeable parts. It seemed like there was no focal point on the offense, which made it kind of, I think, difficult for Franklin Tech in particular to defend. And it kind of bore out in the stats where Grace Giuliano had 35 assists, and I think maybe 4 or 5 different girls had, I'd say, between 8 and 11 kills. This mic is slipping on me. And I think it's a different thing to prepare for. It's a different thing to defend than the Selena Savage kind of just big hitter who is obviously very tough to defend. But what Lennox does is, kind of just bleeds you dry. They're very strong defensively. Emily Berensky was amazing. I was kind of stunned that she was both able to, dive forward for dipping balls and then just take some big booms along the back line with relative ease, and she's so quick laterally back and forth there. So they were just very hard to score on, and they're kind of coming at you from all different sides. All three spots on the court can hit for power, and it just made them very, very difficult, I think, to score on when you're constantly worried about who's hitting the ball at you and you can't seem to land anything. So Whitensville will be, I'm sure, a different level of hitter is incoming this weekend. Lennox had already swept Franklin Tech once before, so it wasn't a huge. They were never in debt.
That's my concern with Lennox, is because this year in the county, since they played the Berkshire League schedule and their non-league schedule wasn't very good, they never really faced anyone who can truly lay down the hammer. And if that's what Christian has, then they're going to have to face something they haven't faced before and have struggled with in the past. And Lennox has some good hitters, but they don't have anyone who really just can juice it.
No, they have no single,
and they also don't have
a single hitter.
They don't have a ton of height. And so once again, if WC has a lot of height and a lot of power, this is going to be something very, very new for Lennox. And do they have the discipline to play a slower game and to pass better and to aim your hits better? So, it'll be interesting to see. They also have first-year coaches. We'll see what happens with Lennox. We're going to take a little break, and then when we come back, we will talk about some football, since we have some big playoff football matchups tomorrow. So we will preview them. So stay right here on WTBR and WSBR.
At Pittsfield Community Television, we have a saying: anyone can learn to create television. With the support of trained production staff, we can teach you how to professionally operate a camcorder, use editing software to tell a story, work as a team in a production studio, and take those skills into the community. If you've been curious as to how video production works, we'd love to have you as a member. Visit us online at pittsfieldtv.org or call us at 445-4234 for more information.
WTBR-FM is listener-supported radio. That means we depend on your donations to keep the station on the air. All the local content and the music you love requires your support. You can make your donation today at WTBR-FM.com by calling 445-4234 or stopping by our studio at 4 Federico Drive in Pittsfield. You'd be glad you did. Pittsfield Community Radio, for the love of radio.
Oh my goodness gracious, as we return to Bird's Eye View, Jesse and Mike here. I cannot believe it. The Nets won a game. I'm so happy. They beat the Pacers. I just had to... Well, Cam Thomas got hurt. He only played 5 minutes. He had a hamstring issue. Michael Porter Jr., 32 and 11, baby. He was kind of flinging it, 4 of 11 from 3. But you know what?
Didn't know he was on the Nets.
Yeah. Well, we traded Cam Johnson to the Nuggets for Michael Porter Jr. Okay. Nick Claxton, 18-10. Woo! The Nets
Real murderer's row
win.
Of guys.
The Nets won a game. We're gunning for AJ DeBonsa.
Would that be that's the Cooper Flag of this year?
Yes, he might be better than Flag. But
the Cooper Flag's not good, right? He's having a rough start anyway.
He's having a
like
fine
six games or whatever.
Yeah, I mean he's played 7-8 games. Yeah, he's having a fine start. You know. He's not in a great situation, so it'll take him time to develop. But no, DeBonsa's at BYU, and they're already giving him the Prince who was promised type stuff. So, Flag's already averaging 14.4 points per game, a steal a game, 2.8 assists, 6.6 rebounds. So, I mean that's pretty darn good. Pretty darn good. Okay. 7 games into your NBA career.
Well, it's okay.
Well, what? That's better than what Tatum did. I don't know what you're. Why are you highbrowing him?
What? Oh, he was like that. He was way overhyped then.
What do you mean?
That's not a lot for a number 1 overall pick on a bad team.
I don't know what you want. Like he's not getting any help. Are you saying he should be like that's not stat padding? Isn't really how that. Whatever. I don't. Mike in basketball is not really something I generally understand. No one else does either. It's fine.
Would you like me to? I could look up other number 1 picks who have had better starts than that.
I'm sure you could look up and see a lot who have had worse. He's 6 or 7 games in after his GM made what's widely considered to be the worst trade ever. I don't think you should be expecting 40-point games right now. In any case, also
40.
Huh?
Who said 40?
What would you want?
20. Scored 20.
I said he's averaging 14.
Yeah.
This doesn't mean he hasn't scored 20. His first game was against Wemby. What did you want? Football. High school football, we have 2 playoff teams, Hoosick Valley and Lee. Lee 8-0 regular season, Hoosick 7-1. Lee is the number 2 seed in Division 8. Little bit of a snub for the Wildcats. That's how they feel. Head coach Tom Snellinetti told me, not a bad thing for us to have something else to be angry about, right? Something else to get us fired up. Not a bad time this time of year to feel that way. So Lee had been the 1 seed since the state power rankings had started. Then on the final bracket release, they were number 2. In the grand scheme of things, it doesn't matter. It changes up your state semifinal matchup. But you're home until the semis, so kind of whatever. And Hoosick is the 5 seed. They weren't able to move up to 4. They probably weren't going to be able to anyway. But they are the 5th seed. So to start with, Hoosick is at home. They will be playing on Saturday at noon. They will host number 12 Blackstone Millville, which is kind of a good thing that, you can talk about Holyoke lowered Hoosick's power rating in week 8, but Holyoke is a pass-first team. They threw the ball 33 times, which is a gargantuan number in high school football out here, and that is great experience because Blackstone throws the ball a lot. Their quarterback has 893 passing yards this year. He's also their second leading rusher with 400-something yards. Their leading rusher only has 500. So they are really a pass-first team. They have 3 players with double-digit receptions, 4 players with over 100 receiving yards on the season. They air the ball out a lot. So this is good preparation for Huzik's secondary, just in having to cover that much, that often, seeing that much attention. Huzik's defensive line is definitely going to need to have a big game, both to keep the quarterback in the pocket and to wrap him up. He's mobile, he's athletic, so they're going to need to, you can't just arm tackle. You got to wrap him up, bring him down, and you got to get him off his spot, because if he has time to just pick and throw, Huzik could be in for a long day. We expect, Huzik's ground game probably going to be important in this one, just to keep the ball out of Blackstone Millville's hands. Noah Rehill up the middle, that's what I want to see. Get Quinnell Bradley off tackle on counters. Kamarian Cash and Raiden Wicks in space. That should be... Apparently, Blackstone Millville does a lot of loaded boxes, 8-man fronts. So maybe then it'll be a pass game. Maybe we'll see Ben Payton air it out. We have not seen anyone be able to stop. I'm going to throw up a 50-50 ball to Kamarian Castner, and he's going to outjump everyone. So that's kind of the who's a get-out-of-jail-free card. Wouldn't be surprised if we see a bunch of it. And...
You said weather looks pretty decent?
I think weather is supposed to be decent.
Okay.
55, cloudy, so as long as it's not, 80-mile-an-hour wind or raining, passing attack...
Like last week?
Like last week, yep. Passing attack should be fine. On Friday, so tomorrow, which I'm not sure what's the weather supposed to be for tomorrow.
I could tell you in a second.
It's supposed to rain.
Yeah.
So not super cold, but it is supposed to rain. So we will see how that affects Lee, because Lee will be hosting number 15 Narragansett in the first round as well. Narragansett lost to Bartlett in Week 8, 34-31. Bartlett is the team Lee beat. Lee shut out in last year's playoff. I've seen some film on Narragansett. I expect Lee to definitely be the better team to win this game. Narragansett does have some fat boys. They got some big boys on the line. So how Lee handles that will be a question. But yeah, Narragansett also, they remind me a little bit of Lee in the sense that they line up their quarterback under center quite a bit and do kind of a triple option. They have 2 backs in the backfield. Either can take the handoff. Eye discipline definitely going to be a key for the Wildcats, knowing who has the ball and where, being able to contain on the edge, being able to stop the run up the middle. So if they are really a triple option team, that is something to be cautious of. But I expect Lee to definitely be the better team and to be moving on. Dawson Reber is only 34 yards away from 1,000, so giving me a little bit of a repeat moment, because last year Devin Schwab wasn't that far away from 1,000, and in the playoff win against Bartlett is when he broke it in his senior year. Dawson Reber's a senior, so he should very well break 1,000 in this game, which would be pretty cool. Lee having so many good running backs to choose from, definitely a luxury, but also definitely a help here. If you ground and pound with Dawson in the first half and he's, 18 carries for 70 yards and he's a little gassed in the second half and you want to save him for defense, okay, well, now we can get the ball to J.D. Reber, right? So, and you have Seamus Cooney and Bryce Hoff in spot.
Did you hear anything about J.D. Reber? There was nothing when you talked to Sal and Eddie.
Why?
Well, because he only had 1 carry in the Taconic game. Okay.
That happens. Yeah, I mean, no, like I said, they'll come in for spot duty. Lee kind of wanted to get Dawson Reber 1,000 against Taconic, but it wasn't a huge goal.
Okay.
Just because, he was like 170 yards away, so it's like that would have been a lot. So he got 133, and now he's very, very close. But yeah, no,
he definitely would have gotten it if it weren't for field position.
Sure, right. But yeah, no, I'm sure J.D. will be fine. I wasn't told that he was going to be absent, so
okay.
I imagine he will be playing. Big part of their defense. But yeah, so Lee doing what it has been doing. Their defensive line definitely going to have a challenge against a team. Their line in general going to have a challenge against teams that can run the ball and that is going to give them some pressure up front. So we will see how they handle that. But we kind of, or at least I'm kind of expecting these should be relatively comfortable wins. If they're not, then we'll take it from there. But I'm expecting both teams to win. If Lee wins, it's home, and it hosts the winner of the 7-10 game, which I believe right now is Cathedral versus someone else. Cathedral or... Not sure. Pull that up, Mike.
D8?
D8.
Oh, right. Lee's not one anymore. I was like,
Nope.
why isn't Lee listed there?
Nope.
Yeah, Cathedral David Prouty.
David Prouty, there you go. Cathedral David Prouty. So that's who Lee would play in the next round, and Lee would host. If Hoosick wins, it will most likely be on the road. It will be at number 4 Randolph. That's a really difficult draw. Randolph is legit. I believe Randolph won the state title in 2021. And last year, Randolph lost to West Boylston in the Super Bowl. So West Boylston, of course, the team that beat Lee and Hoosick in the playoffs. And Randolph almost came back to win that game. I mean, they had a bunch of turnovers early on. They were down like 24-0, and they came back and lost, 24-22, something like that. West Boylston's defense hung on for dear life, and that was the difference. So Randolph, very much a legit team. They're athletic. They're tough. They went 8-0 this year. They beat Cohasset, which is the number 1 team in D7. They beat Mashpee, I believe, which is the number 11 team in D7. So they have some legitimate wins on their schedule. That's a really, really tough team. Hoosick will need to play a perfect game, especially because they will be at Randolph. So, yeah, that'll be a really interesting one. If Hoosick does win that game, I think they can win the state title. But that is the game. Yeah, we have 3.5 minutes left, so I guess also we'll say...
We talked about soccer from yesterday, but yeah.
So I was going to say, because we have a few other non-playoff games.
Oh, sure.
Wacona is at Monument Mountain for football. Athol is at McCann Tech, and Taconic is at Ludlow. Taconic and Ludlow used to be league rivals. Ludlow moved out, and so both teams are now 1-7, both looking for a second win. Be interesting to see if Taconic can get its second win. Taconic's looked certainly better in recent weeks, even in losses to Holyoke, to Lee. So, yeah, we'll see if they can get one done, even though they'll be on the road. Like to see Eddie Ferris get a few more rushing yards. I imagine he can... If the offensive line does a decent job, I imagine he can get 150 rushing yards without breaking a sweat. But we'll see what happens there. Like I said, they'll be at Ludlow on Friday at 6 p.m. tomorrow. McCann hosts Athol at 7 p.m. tomorrow. Athol 1-7 on a 4-game losing streak. McCann 0-7. Athol has not scored a point in 4 games, so we'll see how McCann is able to handle that. The Hornets have been better on offense in recent weeks, so maybe they have something in them. They did win a game in non-playoff format last year. And then Wacona Monument will be an interesting one. They haven't played in I don't know how long. I know they've scrimmaged together a few times, but I don't know if they've won the last time they played.
I don't remember it ever being anything, so
that'll be interesting. I imagine that's a comfortable Wacona win. Their ground game is really good, and I think Monument's just too banged up this year. Be interesting to see how Dom Clutie does against the Wacona secondary, because Wacona secondary does give up big plays. So if they don't cover James Green down the field,
he's already at 1,000, right?
Dom Clutie he's the only Berkshire passer at 1,000 yards. So yeah, be interesting to see those how those games kind of work themselves out. I don't believe Pittsfield is playing again. Yeah, don't have much time other than that, but I don't know. Was there something else you wanted to say about soccer?
So we have really the 3 teams left. We entered soccer without kind of a top single-digit seed, which was a little surprising, a little kind of disappointing almost entering it. Not surprising, just in a vacuum surprising, given that we have so many soccer teams. But the Monument boys, I think, are probably underseeded at 11. I mean, they play a tough schedule, but I think just Pittsfield not being what it was last year definitely hurt them a lot. That's 2 of their 6 wins. and to tie in one of their 6 ties. They finished 6-6-6. So just what they were able to do last night, I think, gives me some confidence. They're going out. They're only playing a 6 seed in the next round, so it wouldn't surprise me if they're able to get into the next round here. They're pretty veteran, yet still not overly heavy on the. I think they only have 2 seniors, but a strong crop of juniors. Greylock girls, I think this is about where they probably should have wound up, given that it's their first year in D4. But again, not a team that would surprise me if they could go out and win another game. They just have so much offense. We should mention it's their second straight game of this get down and then come back and win, because they were down to Munson early, and it's the same quote really from
All right, well,
Blair
that's
Hills.
all the time you have. So thank you for listening, and have a good rest of your day.